How's it going, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another American Gaming Dad gameplay review, crawling out of gold. So we're going to take a look at some gameplay that I recently had, take a look at some positive feedback, also take a look at the positioning that I have, any faults, anything that I did that next time I would think about redoing or fixing will definitely help out. So yeah, we definitely want to do that aspect. So without further ado, let's take a look here. So getting in here, just to point out the person right here, actually played with him in the game previous. Did not have a good experience with him. You'll see later on that I actually block him or put him as a void for teammates, largely because we had a huge issue with him not being able to switch. So his big issue is that he can play DPS and tank, can't heal at all. So he was trying not to. Yeah, right now, currently, as this is, I've already started out basically in the negative because I'm the only tank here and we're defending. So obviously not a good situation to be in. I waited until that Zarya actually dropped her bubble was coming off in order to get the shield to drop before I threw my flame strike there. So let's take a look at that real quick. So here we go. Jumping in here, you can see there goes the Zarya bubble there. Okay. I'm hopping back. Zarya comes out. She bubbles, as you can see. Right here. She's bubbling, so definitely wait until that aspect goes off. Okay. She comes in. I throw my flame strike really high, actually. So this is actually a horrible flame strike because you can see it's right here. Don't make any contact whatsoever because it's all the way up there. Not okay at this point, but you know, it's not ever gonna be perfect in this aspect. Kind of just trying to hold the shield there. Looks like I'm actually holding the shield a little bit too long. I could have held the corner a little bit more. I just wanted to give my DPS some areas. Reaper came out. Didn't want to follow that Reaper out because that would have pulled us out in front of everybody. I thought the Ryan was going to move forward on this aspect, so that ended up not happening actually. So just kind of holding the point here, not doing too bad, just kind of poking a little bit. Saw to the left that Reaper, he's still just poking there. Our Reaper was over there as well. As you can see, he literally just died. So as I move back here, the Reaper right now is actually right here. Okay. He's the only person over there, and you have an entire team at this point in time just looking at him. So, you know, they're like, oh no. Oh, look, Reaper. Alright. So he's going to actually end up dying here pretty quickly. Pretty quickly at this point. See, there he is, dead. Not okay. So his positioning was not that great. Obviously, I'm not perfect at this stuff and whatnot, but at least, you know, try and stick with your tank as much as possible. Yeah, that was actually good of that Zenyatta. He ramped up as I was on the ground. They had a really good push here. They pushed right through me. Wasn't much I could do. The Mercy really tried to hang on to me as much as I could. That I got the sleep off of me. Basically, at that point, I'm really just trying to survive a little bit and back out a little bit more, but I ended up getting hit with that. So I asked, as you can see in the text here, I asked for another tank, largely because we're really at a deficiency right now. We don't have the heals. I don't know how we actually kept the point alive on this. I got the Reinhardt. This is just extending the point here. hindsight, I probably wouldn't do that again. If next time I do that, so I'm going to call that out as a huge error. I should have just backed off and let them have it. But I guess it does, play out a little bit more time on that, which is great. When you're on defense, obviously time is everything. The more you can waste of their time to actually move forward, the better off you are. So we definitely want to continue to do that, but when you just don't want to die all the time. And that's the thing. Like, I had to run all the way back, and you see how far they've made it at this point. I mean, right now I finally have just engaged, and they're already up at this this choke point here. But this choke point, I should probably be standing right just in front of where I'm at, holding that corner with the rest of my team. But we ended up not doing that, largely because I made that huge mistake. So now they've got more room to move forward. They still have time to continue to move through here, and you'll see that they are. I'm now also out of sync with my team. I mean, there's a lot of different things that hindsight is 2020. So obviously, I want to make sure that I don't do that again. I want to make sure my gameplay as a Ryan is a lot better than that. So right now, I'm just trying to hold the corner, make sure my team behind me is not taking it. I baited out that ult from the Rhine. So let's take a look at that real quick here, because this is actually a good thing. So as the Rhine's coming through, I have an ult right now, so I know that Rhine probably is. So I drop my shield here for a second. He comes around the corner. I pop it back up. He's actually right now using his ult. And it's not going to get through and hit anybody, which means that I just stole his ult from him. That is a really good play, and actually something that I learned recently to kind of help do that. So right now, I mean, he tried to do some stuff. Now he's going to try and swing, but nobody's on the ground right now. So I've got full swing, and I can just wait for him to do something stupid, which he just did. He's now out of position, and boom. Now he's dead. I can hold the point here, hold my shield up. Team behind me gets to do whatever they really want. The Reaper's the one thing that I'm really worried about, the Zarya, and then boom. Because I didn't return directly after that ult, and that was one of the things, it was just the Rhine. Now, if it was the entire team, I may have mimicked his ult on the backside and re-ulted through him to drop the rest of his team, but because there was nobody else, it was just the Rhine, and he was playing by himself, I chose to actually hold on to my ult because I figured that we were going to need it a little bit soon. I knew that the Zarya was going to have her ult as well, and if that were to happen, my shield can stand for a little bit, but especially with this Reaper right here, I mean, you've got a Reaper there and a Zarya right here actually that are both coming at me. The Zarya is pretty beefed up at this point, and the Reaper, obviously, with his update, he can heal himself a lot, and he already does enough damage. So having these two here, I knew that I needed to have something that was going to counteract her ability to keep us all held together, because they were just going to melt through my shield, and then I wasn't going to have anything. Plus, the fact that I'm actually down to 151 health, I needed to make sure that I was going to make it through, or at least that there was going to be able to mitigate as much damage as possible that was going to go out. So being able to hold on to that actually saved us on this this ult piece, which is great. So plus, then my healers ended up healing me, which is great. Zarya backs up, which she did a great job. That was a good thought. I played a little too aggressive there because, once again, I mean, yeah, I was just moving forward. Now, this is the other thing that I wasn't paying attention to and that I want to call out is the fact that a little too much there, James. In my butt. Skip, I don't do that. Anyways, right here is where I should have stopped. Reason being is because at this point in time, I believe my Ana, who is over here, can still hit me. Okay, which is great. The fact that she can hit me, I'm still in her line of sight, and that's one of the main things as as a main tank, especially, is you want to make sure that you have your awareness of where your healers are. Right here is basically is the building over on the right hand side. Okay, moving any further forward is going to cut off her ability to heal me when I need it. And as you can see, I've now already gone up to full health, which is great. So I'm like, okay, cool. I was playing a little too aggressive just to back them off, and because of that, see how I'm being melted right now. I mean, I was discorded. I had a Reaper in front of me. I had the Zarya in front of me. It was just something that was not okay. That was my bad play, and because of that, if I'm correct, I believe they actually ended up taking the point here pretty quickly. Now I'm trying to get to the point as fast as I can. They die. I'm just going to hold the corner at this point. I'm not going to move in. Try and group up with my team if I can. If not, then okay, boo. But yeah, definitely want to try and hold this section here as much as I possibly can. And one thing to kind of note, the one kid that I avoided as a team did end up actually changing, and once again, I got really out of position there. That was not a cool position to be in right there. As you can see, I was trying to back up as much as I could. Yeah, so you can see here, like, that got ripped back. Lucio was sitting there holding the position with me a little bit. Does he get... Yeah, he gets taken out by, I think, the Genji. Nope. But my Reaper just fell off out of nowhere. I didn't notice that. Reaper, really? Bad Reaper. Anyways, yeah, just bad positioning there with that play. So I need to make sure that I'm staying in better position when it comes to protecting, my team behind me and whatnot. So Flame Strike out there, got a whole bunch of them. I dove in because Zarya had bubbled me. I held this up because I knew that there was going to be I had a feeling there was going to be a hammer down, so I wanted to keep that up as much as I possibly could. Right here's where I die, which stunk, but we're doing all right. I guess you are supposed to go more aggressive when you are alted with the nano, but it's just I need to remind myself to not to go so crazy at that point. Just try and swing a little bit and then maybe put my shield back up, and then maybe swing a little bit and put my shield back up, mitigate the amount of damage that I'm actually taking. See, that Zarya is just cutting through me, as you can see. Everything's just coming down. Like, they're definitely focusing me down at this point, which makes sense. Your Reinhardt is definitely a front line and sets that boundary. It's like, do not cross this line, basically, is what it comes down to. Right here, they pushed it all the way through. I couldn't get out there fast enough. That's fine, though. So we lost that round. Some of that I can take on as my own. Like, I definitely did make some really stupid decisions here. Right now we're in a process of actually having a conversation of, like, can anybody heal, and then this person can off tank, trying to get that aspect. This person here continues to just switch over to DPS. The issue with that is, I'd rather have somebody play something that they're comfortable with, but he just really wasn't putting out enough damage at this point, so it was better to have even a little bit of damage than what we just had there. See, because that's one of the things I want to point out real quick. Right now, as it stands, we've got 1, 2, 3 damage. We don't have any healers. We've got two tanks, and 0 healers. This guy goes Mercy to try and make sure that we're going to get some heals off and whatnot. And it's just like, this is the situation that you have that are like nightmarish when it comes to comp. You don't want to go into a group that ends up doing this, basically. And I'm sorry, but I'm going to point this out, and I want to make it absolutely clear. This guy here was seriously the issue of all of this at this point. So if you ever see him So if you ever see him or whatnot, if he's not doing what he's supposed to be doing, you know why, especially if you've seen this video. Definitely wanted to make sure that we call that out on him. Not okay at all. So they end up switching, which is great. You can't hear the audio later on where I'm just like, I mean, we go through some major issues with this whole piece. Like, we fight off on this whole aspect, and it's crazy how it goes. But I don't know how many seconds we have at this point. Okay, we're starting. We're going to move in here. See, now I'm right now calling out, all right, because I know that they're going to be dumping a ton of damage right here. Okay, they are all grouped up pretty much here, and I think there's like 1 or 2 that are standing over here just making those shots in this area. So they've got the whole crisscross piece. All right, great, they've got that. I'm actually trying to get everybody to go this direction so that we can go upstairs. Okay, and then drop down over in this area and come around. All right, that's what I'm trying to do. I've got, I think, 2 guys standing over here, which I'm trying to tell them, hey, you need to come around to me and let's go up. All right, so let's take a look at this as it plays out. So I'm standing here. I'm like, okay, go, 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 go. The shield's coming down. Notice how the Roadhog goes over. Okay, want to point something out. The Roadhog still makes it across to me. Now, this is one thing, like, if you've got a Reinhardt who's standing there with his shield telling you to go behind him, all right, just to save it, because basically what this Roadhog ended up doing is just feeding their ults. But he gave them points by just shooting at him. Yeah, he's still alive, and that's great, and he at least grouped up, which thank you very much for grouping up and staying with me on that aspect. But why would you walk through this area when you have this whole section, this whole area right here? He could have walked through completely fine while I had a shield sitting here. What up? There's this whole big, huge area you could walk right in here and just walk right up. You wouldn't have had any damage whatsoever. But instead, he gave damage and fed them part of their ults. And he ended up having, it looks like he's actually healing himself right now. It doesn't make any sense. You need to think about that kind of stuff, whatnot. And also to call out the guy that I blocked, whatnot, once again, is already dead. He's in the backfield and he's already dead at this point in time. So obviously, we're not going to get any benefit out of him at this point. Okay, so right now we're not looking too good. Okay. I'm gonna walk up here. I'm waiting for them to continue to come up here. So I'm sitting here. I'm like, okay, group up, and I'm doing this. I've got a Genji on me. I'm like, all right, I can fight him, but I'm trying to get there, and literally I'm calling it out in chat, voice chat, and I've got 1, 2, 3 sitting there right now, whatnot, with myself just sitting up top by myself. With this Genji who's just taking pop shots at me. Now, the Genji doesn't want to come after me, and I understand that because, well, if he does, there's a likelihood he's probably going to get torn to pieces because Genji versus Rein, unless you really can't aim or you can't swing very much, Genji's going to probably die. Okay, and that's fine. I get it. At this point, I probably should have just moved up on the Genji, but every time I actually walk forward, watch. I walk forward, he disappears. He did exactly what he was supposed to do. Now, this situation is not a good situation. The fact that now we've got, mean guy here, friggin' Reaper, and mean guy number 2, Genji, both coming at me. I'm not exactly in a good situation. I could probably back down and whatever, but the thought to me came basically was if I could take out one of these 2, okay, they have a longer walk back to the point than I do. So basically what we do is we end up going from a 6v6 to a 6v5. All right, we at least have some semblance of power over them at this point in time, or leverage over them at this point in time, because they're going to miss one. So basically I make the decision to go, okay, both of them are coming in here. I'm hoping that I might be able to grab the Reaper as he comes in. I knock him back, which is fine. I end up getting the Genji. Great. The Reaper comes over, he takes me out pretty quickly, but the funny thing is that while that ended up happening, I got rezzed, which I was a little surprised that the Reaper didn't take out my Mercy, because she is seriously standing right there. And the Reaper he backed himself up at this point, but he's right here. Okay. He obviously, when he took me out, he was right here. So for him not to take her out surprised me a little bit, actually. He may not have seen her. I guess maybe she floated over top of his head or something to that effect, but it surprised me. It floored me a little bit. I was thankful that it happened that way. So anyways, moving up here again, you know, they're hesitating. I'm like, all right, let's move up. Let's move up. The Roadhog once again steps forward, and I'm like, no, let's go up here. Okay, come on. So now they're starting to move up with me, which is great. I like the fact that they're moving up now, and I'm like, cool, we're all up here, minus the couple that are still standing over here at the choke point. Like, I think there's 3 of them over here at the choke point, because you got 1, 2, and then the Roadhog is also 3, and all 3 of us are up here, but these guys are still sitting here just pew 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 pew, and that's all they're really doing. What is that? You know, that's not doing much. You didn't stay with us. The whole point of, you know, these types of metas and whatnot, and compositions and whatnot, is so that you stay behind the Reinhardt shield and you can do damage. So anyways, I drop down. Okay, I guess my Roadhog and also Mercy both ended up actually getting taken out by a Reaper. As you can see up here, they both got taken out by a Reaper. Now, here's part of the issue. Neither one of these 2 here were in voice chat. So they weren't able to communicate to me that, or sorry, they were in voice chat, but they weren't using their mics at all. So they didn't communicate what was going on. All right. To me, I had no clue that there was a Reaper standing, and I guess he was standing right here, to be completely honest. Like, I walked out and was just like, okay, cool. Now, that is also an issue of me. I need to check my corners. You do that when it comes to, you know, a whole bunch of other things. But I need to check my corners, just even if it's a quick, you know, look left, right, just to make sure that nobody's in your blind spots. So anyway, so I'm moving back in this point. I know, because it dropped down and these 2 just died, that it's not going to work out very well for me. All right, and as you can see, I still have at least 2 of my guys over here that are just still standing at the choke point. This is part of the issue with lower elos, is that they don't know how to actually push as a unit, as one specific unit. All right, the guy goes Tracer. He's calling out. Now, I think in this aspect, he's calling out some good stuff. He says, dude, stay together. It's me and 3 tanks. Or 2 tanks is what he meant. And 2 tanks, whatnot. This is our Mercy healer right here, calling this out. This person right here is calling this out, saying, hey, stay together. DPS, our other heals that somebody finally went, and then DPS here. They could have stayed with me. He could have thrown his turret someplace, just here, whatnot, and it could sat there and freaking just shot all at one, right? As he moved with me, but decided not to. And I'm pointing out a lot of stuff that a lot of the other players are doing wrong in this aspect, largely because right now, as I was playing, the way I was playing, I'm not seeing too many flaws, other than the fact that they weren't, you know, I wasn't waiting as much, other than, you know, that Reaper piece. That was my fault. I should have checked, but not. The other aspect was not everybody was moving with me. I mean, okay, fine. Tracer, do your thing. The Torb, you're not a flanker, dude. Don't do it. Zenyatta, man, you're slow. You need to be with us at this point in time, and if you're not, then you're not going to do very well, and you're going to be stuck at that choke point, which is exactly where they were stuck the entire time. So anyway, so we're getting up here. The Mercy saying group up. So I walk over here. It's the Mercy, myself, and the Roadhog at this point. There's a Genji in the back. I'm hoping that it's going to work. Now, at this point, because they called me and they're like, group up over here. So it's like, okay, cool. Well, let's see if we can swing the door real fast, come through, okay, and just maybe bully them down a little bit. But we've got a Zenyatta ult. I believe that was our Zenyatta ult. At the point, the Mercy got her res off, which they saw her doing that. Helped her get her res off, which is great. Tracer in the back doing her thing, and then she gets taken out by the piece. Now, boom. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. 4 of them. I want you to understand, 4 of them were all just taken down at this point in time. There was one here, one back here, and then there's also one right here. Okay. They all are pretty decently low at this point. Okay. I'm swinging here. I've got a boost from my Mercy to start doing damage. My heals are not exactly that high up, which I actually would have preferred to be healed a little bit more at this point than being boosted. But I think the Mercy was thinking that my swings and my fire strike were basically going to at least finish one of them off. But I'm guessing that this Ana was actually, I mean, she's staring at me right now, but I think she was healing her pretty well to keep her alive, and that's the only reason why I wasn't able to end her at this point here. But I digress from that aspect, but I want to point one thing out. The fact that these people didn't die here, and they should have. All right, they were on the ground. What are my people doing at this point to where they can't finish up? The only person that I see right now on my team is this person right here, and I believe that's Lucio. Okay, and that Lucio was the guy that I've been complaining about all the time. Finally changed over to Lucio. He's on his way, which means to me, all right, that I've got at least another 4 people behind me. Okay, one of them should be a Roadhog. The other one is a Mercy. Okay, that's fine. Mercy's on me. She's doing her job. Great. All right. There should be a Tracer someplace, and there should be a Torbjorn back there. There's no reason why either she's not dead or she's not dead. Somebody at some point in time should be killing these people other than just me. Okay. This is part of the issues that you have at this ELO, is that players don't know how to capitalize upon things like this. I mean, there's an ult. You need to capitalize on those ults. Games are won and lost by ults. Absolutely. People using their ults properly and chaining them together, or comboing them together, or if, especially a Reinhardt ult or Zarya ult. I mean, especially Ryan ult, they're all on their backs. I mean, you literally should be able to clean up at that point. So, and I think I've stayed on this point at this point. It basically, you need to focus down when that kind of stuff happens. All right, that ended up not happening, as you can see. I end up dying. Like I said, like I pointed out, I really wish that the Mercy would have been healing me a little bit more than putting out boosting for damage, but that's a decision. That's fine. Okay. I also probably should have paid more attention to my health and maybe put my shield back up and just realized that it didn't work. So from my aspect, I need to take that on and say, okay, James, you need to pay attention, a little bit more attention to your health, and know when to attack, when to put your shield up, when to say, okay, this push is not a good push, that kind of thing. All right. I believe we're coming up here pretty soon. Yeah. Here soon. I believe it's this push. And I'm telling everybody right now, please go behind me. Go to the right. Go to the right. Go to the right. Like, come on, let's go. We lost the Mercy. That's fine. I mean, that sucked, but whatever. Bad charge. There's the Reaper. He's doing that. I end up dying. I mean, there was no real true cohesion there. Whatnot. Now, one thing I do want to point out real quick. I am absolutely thankful that this person switched over to a Pharah. She was Ashe. Okay? She was Ashe. She saw the fact that the Reaper was just causing so much havoc on us and decided to switch over. And I was just like, you know something? That is awesome. That is so awesome. But so we had now 2 people switch. I'm not going to spell out switch. We had 2 people switch, which is great. All right, we had one, Farah, all right, and the other one being Lucio. Okay. Awesome, awesome stuff. That started a chain reaction because trust me and watch as we move forward. All right, and I want everybody to really pay attention to this. Even though somebody wasn't, I mean, the guy that switched over to Lucio, he said he couldn't heal. He wasn't comfortable with doing it, whatnot, but everybody else that was working together and working in their positions, whatnot, worked very well, and it was very cohesive, and it did great things. Once these 2 switched over, you see a completely different play. All right, we're at 37 seconds at this point in time. I know you can barely see it, but it is up here. Okay, we're at 37 seconds right now. We have 0 captured right now. Horrible situation, not a situation you ever want to be in, right? Okay, so let's play this through. I'm going to come out. Torbjorn, our Roadhog, they're all coming out. At this point in time, this is actually probably one of the most grouped up we've been, even since the beginning of the freaking match. All right, I'm like, go to the right, go to the right, go to the right again. All right, I've got the Reaper on me. This time, instead of trying to charge him, I just swing and he backs off. Okay, bad situation. We've got a Moira ulting, which is just a pain for us. And you don't want to move in too fast on this. That's part of the reason why I'm just like, okay, shield. Now, right now, they are not even paying attention to me at all. So I'm like, this is just free season for me to swing. Okay, take out the Zarya, ult her out just to get her done and clear the point. Now, one thing I'm going to point out for myself, I didn't need to use that ult. I shouldn't have used that ult. Mental note, don't use that ult ever again like that, James. Just clear the point. That's all we needed to do. We had enough people. It was 6v1. We were gonna win that. I didn't need to use that ult, and I could have used it in a better situation, which is actually coming up here, I believe, pretty soon on this match. But I want to go back very quickly. We went in and we took the payload within 37 seconds from initiation to true push all the way in. The initiation to actually capturing the objection. 37 seconds. That's all it took for us to get together, get grouped up, push our way in, and take it out. And they even ulted. They had 2 ults. They had a Moira ult and they had an Ana ult all against us, and we were still able to push right through it. And that all started with 2 switches. The switch to Lucio and the switch to Farah. Well, no. I don't know if the Farah switch was one that they were comfortable with, but they did it because they saw a point in which there was a deficiency that they needed to fix. The Ashe wasn't doing it, obviously. So they switched over to Farah. They were able to take out the Reaper, and it worked pretty well. Okay. I can't say enough about the Mercy. The Mercy did really well. We ended up having another Ashe brought back in. I believe that was actually... I don't remember who did that, who originally was the Ashe at that point. Just trying to hold this. I'm telling them right now, use the payload to kind of hide behind a little bit, which obviously these 2 are not listening, but hey, to each their own. That's fine. Okay. I know that there's a huge amount of people coming in at this point, and they've got an Orisa, so we've got to go through their shield right now. That was interesting, though. I think that was the Orisa bubble orb. All right, so right now, this is what I'm talking about right here. Okay, that ult by Zarya, and I'm like, take the Zarya out, because she is a huge issue right now. She's boosted pretty well right now, and it's not okay. And then I see my Mercy keeping me alive. Thank you very much, coming through. But anyways, real quick, let's take a look at that again. Okay, just want to go back a little bit more right here. Okay, that ult was really dangerous, and luckily my shield was able to hang on. But as you can see, like, I didn't have much left. Like, my shield was coming down quick, and my health was coming down quick. Were the 2 things that I was worried about. All right, luckily, as you can see, we've got a whole bunch of heals going off right now, which is really what's keeping me alive to hold this this point. So thank God that happened. They're Genji jumping in. He's not doing much right now. Zarya is just going crazy. So we chase her down. That's fine. Obviously, my mentality at this point in time is, okay, this is not working. Fall back. And the cool part that I do like is the fact that we've got this going on here. We've got a Lucio and my Roadhog, my Mercy, and myself. That's 4 out of our 6. All right, that actually fell back off of that point and stayed alive. And because of that, all right, because they actually fell back and stayed alive, which is great, we were able to actually regroup, reheal, do fine, come back out, and see the Zarya just out of position. Pushing in, grabbing her. We're able to get back to the point and do this. Now, they're doing a ton of damage to me at this point, and it's eating me alive. So I'm moving forward, trying to get this, knowing that the rest of my team is pretty much there. All right. Get my ult right now. Boom. I dropped their Zarya, but not. That was a bad ult. I'm going to call that out. That was a bad ult, largely because it was me trying to do something. The rest of my team, obviously, as you can see right now, are all running in. I mean, they're right here. Okay. Which means that I ulted trying to do something, and it wasn't because I was reacting trying to stay alive or anything like that. I was ulting because I wasn't paying attention to my feed up here, and I didn't see that my team was dying, whatnot. And obviously communication wasn't happening, so they weren't talking. I mean, this guy was, but that was pretty much it. But regardless, they weren't really talking all that much. So for me to know that they were actually behind me, I would have had to have been paying attention to that. That is something I need to keep in the back of my mind, is that I'm going to be playing with people that are not always going to be communicative. So I need to play as though they're not going to, and pay attention to my feed and pay attention to when people are dying, who are dying and whatnot, and when to back off, basically. Now, luckily, the kid that played Lucio did it smart. He waited for everybody and then taxied us in very quickly, which is great because at this point in time, we're at 20 seconds pushing in on this thing. Okay. And he's keeping me going, which is the other aspect. I mean, I don't have my ult, and once again, I don't have an ult, and we're getting ulted by Zarya. That's 2 ults that Zarya pushed that is just not okay. And then they ended up ulting again, whatnot. Luckily, this guy ended up actually saving the day. Whatnot. He came through, cleaned up some stuff, and just pushed his way on. I gotta give him props. That was good stuff. Like, great job, dude. Held it on, got us the point. We've got a whole nother, minute and a half basically of playtime to get to the next point at this point. And we have to, because the other team pushed all the way through, and that they had 2 minutes and 43 seconds left. So the amount of time that we needed to push quickly. So I'm trying to move forward, doing my hop shield. That's fine. Okay, getting in here. Now, I want to point something out. Notice these rockets that are coming in. Like, this Pharah is putting in some work. All right, great stuff. My shield's getting low, so I'm kind of backing up, coming up over top, trying to do that when I've got the ability, trying to shield my team a little bit, give them some working room. The Pharah goes into her ult, which is great. Okay, I'm purple. I mean, a lot of people are purple at this point in time. Here comes another ult by the Zarya. Now, here's the other thing I want to point out. Yes, I again didn't have my ult at that point because I didn't build it that fast. This Zarya built her ult quick. I mean, she was being fed the entire time. Like, and it's pretty crazy how fast she was able to do that. Okay. Now, with that said, she was ulting left and right, but she didn't have the backup of her team. So to her demise, she just kept freaking throwing that out, and to our success, thank God, we were able to survive it because she didn't have the backup of her team to just finish that out. Okay. Now we go a little bit aggressive on this. I tried to time this. I mistimed it. Trying to get the Mei down. All right. Our Mercy's just boosting, healing. I mean, she's going nuts, which is great. And she's got good position too, as you saw her floating in there. So we end up pushing this, all right, at the very, very end. Like, there wasn't much else that we could have done here. So 3-3, great. But and I want to say this 3-3 was only possible because of those two switches. Like, seriously, without those two switches, the Pharah and the Lucio, we weren't doing this. We were not getting 3. We weren't getting 1. Seriously, we were not going to push in and get 1 at all. We were able to get in, get the first one, which gave us the ability to push into for the second one, but and that gave us the third one. And it was all because of the fact that literally 2 people took it upon themselves to actually listen to what we needed in the group and make that switch. If more people did that, gold would be a lot easier to get out of. But and it's something that people need to learn and just need to take that upon themselves to do it. And I get it. If you're not comfortable with stuff, whatnot, try not to switch as much as possible. But even if it comes down to it, it's like everybody else is working really well, then just do it. Now, I want to point out real quick also. Once again, goes back to a DPS. He really wanted to play DPS, and I get it. He's really young. Well, not this guy is probably 9, 10, at max 12. Okay, and I'm basing that off of his voice. I may be wrong. He may be older than that. But based upon his voice, how he was acting, and what he was saying, I'm going to say he was pretty young. Okay, so I get it. You're a kid. Fine. But I go back to what I said. You can't play at least one of each of these groups. Your tank, your damage, and your support. Don't play comp. There are going to be situations that you're going to have to switch into one of these positions. But and if there's already a healer, and they're playing the healer that you normally, or that you are comfortable playing, but I bet you 9 times out of 10 that healer would say, "Wait, you're able to play this healer? Cool, I will switch to another healer." But because they will likely be able to play something else at least proficiently enough. All right. Anyways, yes, he could go back to DPS, but later on you'll see he ends up going back to heals, which is good. Thank you very much for doing that. But not because that was, like I said, once again, one of the switches that we need. We're on attack at this point in time. We have 1 minute to do this. Okay, and it's something that I want to point out because I play with a lot of people that don't really understand this piece here. We have 1 minute, and it's 1 minute to 2 minutes and 46 seconds, basically. So our team has 1 minute to at least take that first point. All right, and then from that point on, it's just stay on the point and do not go anywhere. Don't do anything, type of thing. Okay, now that's really difficult, especially against a 2 minute and 46 second freaking arm piece, but it can be done. All right. Now, another thing I want to point out, he is actually switching up to try and help out because we were calling out the fact that there was a Reaper, and we were like, you know something? May does well with countering Reaper, but we also had a Pharah to do that. Okay, so this is just a conversation area, whatnot, just to get everything going. And he ended up saying that he would switch out if need be. Whatnot, which it ended up actually needing to happen. That's fine. Okay. I'm looking around at what it is I'm going to play, and then I'm just like, you know, we got a Zarya. I'm going to Rein. I'm going to play Rein because of the Zarya. Zarya and Rein right now is so strong if you can play them together and you play them well. But if you can combo each other, it's insane. You have 2 game-changing ults that go on, and it's insane. All right. And I want to point out the fact that kid did end up actually he went to a Moira, so he can DPS and heal at the same time. He throws his healing orb in there. Not exactly my favorite thing he did, but whatever. That's fine. He's still working with us. Great. I call out the McCree up there. Get charged as a Rein. Okay. Still pulling my shield up because I'm just like, you know something? Too much damage going on. Let's keep walking forward. Now I'm walking forward. I'm hoping that my team's going to move with me. Diving in. Huge mistake here. Huge mistake here. I dove in and I'm at the back. My Mercy, thank God, came in with me to help me out, and she's giving me heals, which is great. But I should never have put her in this position. As a Mercy main, I should know not to put her in this position. This is not a position you want to be in. I get it what I was trying to do. I was trying to pick off that Zarya that was right there. I didn't have it. It wasn't a definite charge. But not only that, when I did it, I knew that the rest of my team that was all back here, basically, they weren't with me. Not a good position at all. If I could take it back, I wouldn't have done that. Luckily, I get away with it. Okay, the Zarya is there. She's doing some stuff. I flame struck at that. Bad timing. I mean, this is just really... I'm just getting lucky at this point. I'm discorded right now. I'm just taking a whole bunch of damage, and my Mercy is just keeping me alive, and so is the Moira. They're just going to town, doing their job, and everybody else is cleaning up, which is great. As you can see, the feed going on here. Now we find the McCree in the back, take him out, that's fine. Cleaned up. Okay. 1 minute. In 1 minute, we were able to stay together, all right, work as a cohesive team, even though we don't know who each other are. There's not great communication going out here, but although the Moira is calling stuff out, which is great, you know, but we were able to do that. We went from not being able to take the first point until finally 2 people switched some stuff over to pretty much we just rolled over those people. Okay. Now, I think we would have done a lot better. We may have done it faster as well if those 2 mistakes that I ended up having on there, that dive or that charge that I ended up having, which once again, I go back to my previous video. I need to work on my my charges. I'm not having too much of a problem with them in this video so far or today, but it is still an issue. I still need to call that out, and I want to point out how severe that can change things. It ended up working out great, thank you very much, and it ended up working out because of my healers here. They were on me, they helped out, they did great work. That was what they did. That was luck. You don't get out of gold, you don't climb out of gold via luck. You climb out of gold by learning your lessons and by actually doing stuff right. Okay, we made it. We're in overtime. Now we're just waiting. I'm trying not to poke all that much because I don't want to feed their ults. I know that they have them because they haven't really used them. All right, I'm only at 51%. See, there we go. We've got a Ryan coming in. Now that was his fault. That was bad, but Ryan should never have done that. Because here's the thing. He's got to run all the way back now. All right. This was a good call out. All right. Right here. You can't even see him, but you see the red here? Okay. That's the Reaper. They called him out as soon as he was in the back. They were like, there's a Reaper in the back and whatnot. Normally I would allow, other people just to take care of that. But the fact of the matter is that the other team wasn't up there. So this Reaper is just trying to take people out in the back, trying to get a quick pick. Not a good idea for him. All right. So let him do his thing. I come over trying to get him. All right. The Zarya bubbled him. Bad charge on me. Didn't do too much. Said, all right, just leave him there. Do your thing. They kept going in on him. I was like, just let him alone. He'll come out. All right. And this is what I wanted him to do. Okay. I wanted him to come down that hallway, because by him coming down that hallway, he couldn't go anywhere else. I already knew he had used his reap, so he's not going to be able to shadow out or reap out whatnot to go get heals. I knew he had already picked up that healing spawn, so I knew that he wasn't going to get it. So either A, he was going to get hit back in that hallway, or B, as we move the point up and that little exit point, he was going to A, sneak out there, or B, we were going to pick him off there. And that's where I was working at. It ended up, as you can see, working out. We were able to take out the Reaper. He was done. Now they don't have one of their biggest DPS. Okay, I'm charging here trying to get that Lucio. I wanted to get that Lucio because he was low. Not exactly that great. This was a double ult. I didn't know that the Zarya was gonna ult. They didn't call it out. Once again, communication not happening. That's fine. But I told him, I was like, sorry, I ulted. That wasn't expecting you to. But it was good. It was good ult. They ended up clearing. We got the point here. So, so far, great. The only issue is that even though they got that point, I'm now down to 8%. You don't want to be down to 8% when you could be using that aspect. Now, it was called out. See, there's the Reaper. It was called out that the Reaper is in the back. Now, I was trying to go deal with him a little bit, and that just didn't happen. This is my stupidity, but I actually dove there because I thought that that was the Reaper that was sleeping. Come to find out, it was actually one of our own. We could have probably pushed a little bit further if I just stayed with the point of the or at that conjunction, but not too shabby. I mean, come on, 5-2 or 5-3, whatnot, and we were at like our wits' end pretty much. That's with 1 minute to do all of this, and we were able to do that. Now, at this point, I'm going to point out one thing: 5-3. They have to make it through 2 points with 2 minutes and 46 seconds is what they have on the timer to make it all the way through point 1, point 2, and then make it that far into point 3. Okay. For those of you that are in gold, understand. All right, I've been in gold enough to understand my flaws, and I'm calling them out, and I'm reviewing this stuff because I want to know what I've done wrong, and I want to learn from them. But here's the other aspect that I'm finding out. All right, actually, sorry. They have 3 minutes and 35 seconds. My bad. To push. But that doesn't mean it's the end of the game. They only have 3 minutes and 35 seconds, which means if we play reserved and we attack when we need to, and we stay grouped up and we communicate properly, whatnot, this can be done. We can become a huge pain in their backside by just playing it properly and playing very reserved and making sure that we're taking our hits and making our hits when we need to. Okay. Waiting through all this. All right, we got 5 seconds. Cool. They come in basically with the same-ish comp that they had played because they were like, this worked. Let's do it. I push up a little bit. Now, this confused me a little bit. Oh, there's Lucio. That's why. Okay, Lucio actually jumps through, pushes me through here. But after I was asleep. All right. In all honesty, that May freezing the Rhine saved me. Now, I got away from the Rhine because I needed to and I knew it. Now, the Reaper and everybody else coming through, Mercy tried to get it. That's fine. They broke through really quick, all right, because that's what it was. They changed it up. They have a Doomfist now. We weren't expecting that. So that was one thing that I was like, all right, cool, we need to fix this stuff. That's it right there. That Pharah, that made a Pharah switch, whatnot, help fix that aspect. So now we're able to reduce the amount of damage that's going out by that Reaper and by that Doomfist because they're able to, we're able to control them a little bit. They have to look up. All right, they have to look up at this Pharah up here. Okay. Well, a Doomfist is pretty mobile, but it's very difficult for a Doomfist to line up on a Pharah. Okay. A Reaper, sorry, it can reach out pretty decently, but it doesn't have. It's not a hit scan. It's not going to reach out that much. All right, so that means that they can't do much to our Pharah. She's just going to sit up there and do her thing, and have fun. I couldn't believe the Mercy got that off. That means that they really just were not paying attention to anything behind them. All right, the Ana on the other team was doing. She was going to work. She slept me twice so far. But and they were two really big sleeps. Like it was quite annoying actually. Okay. Good stuff. They switch up, they get a Rhine. Or sorry, they didn't switch, they switched up before for the Rhine. They got the Rhine. Right here. Okay. I want to point this out. Watch. We're all like, okay, cool. Stay here. Stay grouped together. Okay, that's fine. He's kind of poking, or we're kind of poking. We're kind of doing our thing. We're still holding this area here. All right, the enemy team is kind of engaging. Here comes the Reaper. I'm like, nope. The Reaper's coming after me, and I know it. Luckily, he didn't really get anybody on that, and I was happy about that. Or Hanzo ulted, great. I'm gonna pause right now. I want to point this out. Our overzealous, not knowing how to healer guy, but not that we've had an issue with, has now pushed all the way up here. Okay. Zarya is here. She's kind of poking and holding that. And then our other DPS is here, which also pulls our Mercy back. Luckily, nobody on the other team came through this little hole. Okay. Very lucky that didn't happen. I am absolutely ecstatic about it. but we're communicating to this person. All right, please pull back. The only reason why these 3 people are up here is because they know that he is there and he may need some help. And he's got a whole long way to walk back, but from the spawn if he dies. Okay? Hope you like my little stick drawings here or whatnot. Kind of funny. Anyways, if he dies. That is not a good position to put yourself in, especially when you're putting yourself in where this is, I believe this is 2 minutes and 1 second. They have 2 minutes, basically, to push this payload to the next point. And then 2 minutes, it's not, total 2 minutes to basically get to where we were at. We did it in 1. So if we did it in 1, that means they can absolutely do it in 2 because they've already taken the first point. Okay, there is no reason why they wouldn't be able to, unless they don't cohesively work together or whatnot. This is an issue. I get it. He's young. He's excited. We're working together. Things are falling into place. It's awesome. We're actually holding. We're retaking points. We're doing team fights. Awesome stuff. Team fight is so important, especially at gold. So important at gold. You need to learn to team fight. If you learn to team fight, you will make it out of gold and into platinum. Okay? It's the only reason why this ends up being a win. Is because we did that. See? They're all up there trying to get him to come back. Notice how he's coming back. They're walking back. He's still there. At this point in time, the Mercy comes onto the mic and legitimately starts yelling at him. Okay? And he starts arguing back. Don't do that. Do not do that. Okay? There was another instance in this where they actually started bickering back and forth and whatnot, and I get it. But this kid's young. All right? Come to find out, this guy here is probably around my age, whatnot, because he's got a 5-year-old. He's like, you sound like my 5-year-old. Which is funny. All right. I've got a 6-year-old. You guys know I'm an American gaming dad, whatnot. Duh. I've got a kid. All right. Don't argue. Seriously. And especially, I want to point this out. If your Mercy is telling you to back up, there's a reason. Listen. You will do much better. You will survive more. You will win more games if you listen to people who need you to do stuff and just do it. Regardless of whether or not you think you can get a pick, regardless of whether or not you're just poking, regardless if you're charging your ult. I don't care what your excuse is. If your entire team is sitting back here, okay, and you're the only one sitting up here, you better be a Genji, you better be a Tracer, you better be somebody that can literally go from here to back behind this line, but not in a blink. And if you can't do that, which, I'm sorry, a Brigitte, or Brigitte, however you want to say her name, she can't. You have no business being there. Okay? I digress on that. So anyways, we're actually down to, it wasn't even 2 minutes, it was 1 minute. So now we're down to 40 seconds. Okay? Part of the reason why we were saying, just chill, come back, and whatnot, we didn't need to do a lot. We really didn't. I had my ult. There was 3 other ults there. That was a waste right there. Boom. I want to point that out. His shield was up. I should have baited it. Should have kept my shield up. Allowed him to close the distance. I baited it out of him the one time. And then he just came walking in and I just knee-jerk react. Hit my Q. Alright, not a good idea. Here's why. Okay, we're getting beat around. I'm going to charge in. I'm going to try and shorten that, but boom. That right there is the whole reason why you don't do that. And now that was crazy. It went all the way to the very beginning. I'll have to cut that out. Okay. Right here. Bad position. Or bad decision. Zarya bubble. Shield. This should have stayed exactly where it was. I should not have gone and hit Q at all on this. Literally, this is a knee-jerk reaction. They hit us with Q. I automatically hit mine right afterwards. Not okay. Shouldn't happen. And the more I make that discerning or that decision properly, the better off we do. Now, and here's why I'm saying. Okay, I came down, boom, getting hit. Ryan blocked everything that I had, didn't do nothing for me. Okay, charge in, I'm dead. Playing too aggressive at this point. Luckily, we didn't do too bad at this point. Yeah, they end up taking the point back, or the payload back, all right? And now they're at overtime. Okay. Reason why I say that I played that wrong is because of a couple things. A, obviously, it didn't do anything, and I lost my my ult. So now I'm at 30%. Okay, and trying to climb. Okay, I'm communicating out that Mercy's on her way, so on and so forth, that kind of stuff. Throwing out a strike, hopefully gonna catch somebody. Nothing. All right, that's fine. So now at this point, I know that there's a Doomfist in the back, trying to mitigate that aspect. Okay, he didn't do much. He hit me, and they just basically C9'd on this one. I mean, we did push him off there, but it was mostly a C9. Okay. This was a messy game. Absolutely. Like, not going to say it was my best. Not going to say it was my absolute worst. Whatnot. I got a shot caller promotion on that. Whatnot. Thank you very much to whoever gave that to me. But it was just horrible. So many different things that could have been done differently on that aspect. I mean, the changing thing. So what did we learn throughout this entire thing? And I'm going to recap this because this is a lot of information, a lot of stuff that's going on here. I, again, messed up one of my dives. And you saw how fast that turned into a bad situation. Okay. I dove in. The Mercy luckily followed me in. The Moira also sent out an orb, whatnot. That was the only reason why I stayed alive on that aspect, is because my dive, my charge, was done improperly. Okay, so I need to make sure that I pay attention to that. Okay, 2, that last ult, knee-jerk reaction ults, don't do it. Bait out. Keep your shield up and bait out if you can the ult. If not, just hang on to it. Okay, if he would have dropped his shield and I hit him, great. If not, then, well, I died anyways at that point. So it wouldn't have changed much. All right, and that's something that I need to remember, is that it's not going to change much. I died regardless, but now I didn't even have an ult at the end. And at the end, I literally could have walked over to the payload, hammered down, which would have probably taken out both the Zenyatta and also or knocked down both the Zenyatta and the Doomfist if I would have caught him. But all right. And I could have finished it up very quickly, no problem. Luckily speaking, they did C9. They did get off of there, and I was able to remove them, knock them off a lot more, which in this scenario, in these types of scenarios, you cannot leave the payload at all, because as soon as you do, it's done. Like, the time just drops down so fast. There's nothing you can do as soon as you step too far off. Okay. Their Lucio needed to be on point, just bouncing around, whatnot. There's a good possibility they need to switch over to like a Roadhog so he could heal himself through a lot of the damage and prolong things and get it to where, like, instead of them just going in and kind of volleying or whatever it's called, streaming in, they could actually go and push in at the same time. But yeah, anyways, so there's that aspect. Communication is huge. We did make it through this without a lot of communication, but as you can see here, it's even still up on my my monitor. The Mercy, Shiny Hero, did end up speaking up at some point. Okay, he did end up actually coming on and start talking and communicating a little bit more. It made it a little bit easier for us to do this stuff, which is great. Okay, so there is that aspect, which is fine. All right. Don't bicker. Don't argue. It's not gonna help anybody. You're gonna mess up the freaking comp, or you're gonna jam up comms. Nobody's gonna be able to say anything. It goes back to the communication part. But not only that, you're gonna piss people off. All right, and then people that are just angry and just aren't focused, whatnot, start making really stupid decisions. Okay, you don't want to do that. Toxic players, it's like a virus and it spreads so fast. It's not even funny. Okay, there's a huge issue with that. Do your damnedest not to do that. Do not berate somebody. Do not try and cut them down. Even if they are being dumb and not switching, or they're doing something stupid and whatnot, communicate it in a way that is more of a constructive criticism or way, all right, or in a way that is more suggestive than in a very black and white, you're either stupid or you're smart type of moving forward type of thing, whatnot. People are more responsive. When you when you build people up, they respond a little bit better, but they try harder. Okay, there are studies out there. I don't have them off the top of my head, but there are studies out there that have actually shown this. Okay, try to stay positive. That's what I was trying to do the entire time, was stay positive with this. Okay, that is a huge piece of this. The other piece, even at these elos, okay, be willing to switch. Okay, even if you're not 100% comfortable with something, if everybody has basically said, we need this piece, we are doing well here. Okay, and there's a pretty obvious piece of that. If we're doing well because they've got all golds, whatnot, and they're actually doing something with their damage, whatnot, I don't want to take somebody who's doing a lot of damage and putting them into a healing position unless their healing is just that much better. Whatnot. Okay, or if it's the scenario that we were in right now, all right, where we just needed that little bit of a push, that little bit of healing because we were putting out enough damage, and all we needed was somebody to switch over to a healer. There you go. Okay, if you see a position that is not being effective, all right, and this I'm talking about the switch to a Pharah. All right, the Reaper is just annihilating at this point. Switch to a Pharah. Start taking care of some stuff. It was, like I said, I pointed out earlier, it was those two switches. The switch to a Lucio, which started giving us a little bit more healing, because now we were not just single healing it. Okay, and the switch to a Pharah were the two most impactful switches of the game that allowed us to move forward. That allowed us to go from having 0 points to having that first point and gaining momentum. Because that's one of the big things that I want everybody to understand, is the fact that once you gain momentum, all right, your metabolic system starts going into overdrive. You start having positive feelings going on stuff. You start reacting better. You focus better, whatnot. And I mean, absolutely. Think about it yourself. If somebody is berating you and telling you and pushing you down and demeaning you and whatnot, how much work are you going to be doing? Whatnot. You're not going to want to do your work. You're not going to want to pay attention. You're not going to want to try and, do your best, whatnot. But if somebody's like, you're doing a good job, great job, keep it up, whatnot, you get those good feelings in there. You want to try harder. You want to focus more. You want to do better, whatnot. You get that, and that's what momentum really is. If you can carry that momentum, whatnot, over people. At these elos especially, okay, you will absolutely start railroading people. 100%. I'm telling you, 9 times out of 10, if you can gain momentum at these elos, people fall apart. Teams fall apart. But we did the exact opposite, actually. All right, we were just piece part, not meshing together at all the very beginning of this, and a couple of switches and whatnot, and everybody started moving together, and we became a train, and we ran these people over. All right, those small switches, those small decisions, everything from the stupid decision that I made to knee-jerk react alt on that Rein and that Zarya when I shouldn't have, could have been a huge issue. It's a small decision. It's a quick decision, but it's something that can change the complete face of the game. All right, And it's those types of things that you need to watch out for. All right. I'm hoping that you learned as much as I did. This was a huge teaching session for me. All right. And you get to hear it as, I mean, literally, like, I'm not going through and I'm not going back to, what it is that going back to my video and editing stuff and putting it together, or watching it and then speaking to it and then piece parting this together. You're literally listening to me as I'm watching this again and reviewing this, and as I'm learning stuff and I'm seeing stuff. Because here's the thing. Yes, I am playing Ryan primarily in the last 2 videos that you'll see. I'm playing Ryan. But I'm commenting on everything else that everybody else is doing. And I'm not only commenting on it because I'm pointing it out to, the viewers that are going to be watching this, but I'm learning myself as I'm doing this. I'm noticing what the Zarya, who's actually a plat player or whatnot, and I noticed the fact that they didn't die a lot. Or if they did die, it was because they weren't paying attention to their positioning and whatnot. It was that small little piece that got them. All right. They were engaging as a team. They were retreating when their team was dying. But and it was something that I was able to learn on that aspect. Just different things. So I'm able to learn as I'm doing this, and I'm hoping that you're learning as well. We're going to continue to do this crawl out of gold, and I'm hoping to actually get, out of gold or pretty close to it by the end of the season. If I continue to do this, I think I'm going to. And you get to see it, and I'm hoping you learn with me as this goes along. Okay, please, we're just starting to put these things together. We're getting a website up and going and whatnot as well. But right now we're loading these up on YouTube. So hit the bell icon, subscribe if you want to hear some more when we put these out. If you feel like you've learned more. If you've learned a lot from my mistakes that I'm doing, whatnot, that's great. Throw some comments in there. If you've got some recommendations for me, hey, I'm down, man. Like the last video had somebody throw some comments in there about both my Orisa and my Rhine play. They were very helpful, extremely helpful, actually. Like, for example, the Orisa tossing the orb up and pulling them up because they disperse longer. That was some awesome feedback. So if you want, give me some feedback. Talk to me. We do have a Facebook page. We've also got a Twitch. Just type in American Gaming Dad, as you can see up here in the top sections of my recording here. We've got a couple of different areas that you can go. We also do have a Gaming Parents Facebook group where you can be a little bit more active, post videos, talk to people. If you want to play with some people, you can get on there as well. We're trying to grow that right now we're at about 135 people in there. Whatnot. So please, come join us, enjoy the group, and I hope you enjoyed this video. We're going to be putting some more out, whatnot. So, see you next time. Thank you very much to those who are watching also, and once again, hit that bell icon. It helps us out.